Imagine becoming a real estate agent, growing your team quickly, and then realizing you need to make a change to grow better and faster and to do it internationally. That's right. The real estate business doesn't have to be just local. So let's get to it. I'm Karrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor and eXp certified mentor. And today, I'm excited to introduce you to someone who has built an international business in a super short time. In fact, she grew her team into 5 countries in just 1 month. Please welcome my guest. So this is Natalie Salis, and she is in Chicago, and I'm so excited to have you here today. So I just wanted to ask you to get started. How did you get started in real estate?
First, thank you, Karrie, for having me here. And I started my career in real estate backwards because most people start as an agent, knowing they want to be an agent, and then they join, the company we're in. But for me, it was the other way around. It was through experience and maybe a bad experience that I was like, I maybe need to do international real estate because the area I was in, I feel fulfilled. There was no people were not doing a good job. And this was when I moved to Mexico. I was in the Riviera Maya for the pandemic, since we were able to work remotely. And back then I was in corporate. I've been in corporate for many, many years in my career. But when the pandemic hit, we could live somewhere else. So meaning you don't have to be close to downtown to go to the office. And my story was my mom, my sister, and I were in my condo in Chicago, and it was just getting too cramped and too many things going on. Everyone went through the pandemic with different things. For us was my mom. My mom needs 24-hour care. So to us, not having a caregiver coming in and out of the house was super difficult because we were working, we were in the house, we're doing everything in one place. And without a caregiver, it was very hard to do, what work, even have a clear mind to work and to take care of her too. So that's the reason we went to Mexico. And I'm not from Mexico originally, I'm Peruvian, but Mexico was the closest city. I mean, the Riviera Maya was the closest city to go to that was open. And we were able to have maybe somebody at home to care for her so we can, have a normal life. So that was the reason I left. That was 4 years ago. And at that point, we were staying there without just going on vacation mindset. And when we were there, we were thinking maybe if we could make this a temporary residency, what would be like to be here in winter, because, Chicago in winter is horrible. So then we started the process of searching to buy a condo, just a condo, a 2-bed, something for 3 of us. And in that buying process, I didn't know anything about eXp back then. I wasn't a realtor myself. I was just somebody who left Chicago and wanted to just take a break from the winter. And when I was there and during my search, the process was really painful because I had to work with 3 different agents. I didn't know that in Mexico, you don't need a license to operate. And I was hitting the wall because I felt like the one requirement we had with my mom was that she's in a wheelchair, so we needed easy accessible path to entry to the condo. So we needed an elevator or a first floor. So that was our main requirement, but the agents we were working with will show us, 3rd floor stairs only, or something that had stairs that were the twisted ones. And I'm like, there's no way I can get my mom up the stairs through here. And we speak Spanish fluently, so it's not like a language barrier. It was more about understanding culturally, or they were showing me places that was 100,000 above my budget. And I'm like, it's not gonna fit, I just couldn't find that communication flow. And that's when I realized, I turned around, I'm like, who does real estate here, mindfully or, at least efficiently? And I couldn't find many people like that back then 4 years ago. And this was the Riviera Maya was a place where a lot of expats were coming, other people were moving, other people were buying. And I was like, how people buy if they don't have, somebody who can help them through the process, or it's confusing, they don't explain well. Once you buy, you do your down payment, the agent disappears. So it's kind of like, how do people do it? And then that's where my curiosity started on the space. That's when my research started. I started documenting the process of our buying experience, and that kind of became my framework to help other clients, if they're relocated abroad, what will they ask? What the expectations will be like from an American perspective into stepping out of the US. Sometimes they just cannot adjust to the process, but maybe you can adjust to their buying process and cater to that and that need that we saw back then. So that was when everything started for me, and I realized that, hey, I just need some systems in place, because even if I'm in Mexico, how do I bring clients and do they see our inventory here if I want to pursue this career, right? So technology was a key point, and I was thinking to maybe build an MLS, build something, a platform where we can host listings, because the listings were all over the place, many portals, but then not one place that you go to and find, two bath and narrow it down to the compliant listings. So the compliance is a big issue too. And when I came to Chicago, I was introduced to somebody that told me about eXp. And then I was like, that's perfect, because what I want to do is international, and that will be the perfect platform, because then I don't have to build anything. And that's where my journey started in real estate. I went running to get my license in Chicago, and then I joined the company.
Wow, that's great. And wow, what an interesting path through the pandemic down to Mexico and back, and also deciding to become a realtor because of being with not so great realtors. Wow, that's all very interesting. So when you got started in Chicago, what was you were working as a realtor, right? So what was your greatest challenge in getting started as a newer agent?
My challenge was, going through the class wasn't not too bad. Passing the exam, it was good to go. But the contracts, I feel like, to me, being, I feel like I'm more a visual person. So going through the contracts, they will always come back to me, hey, you're missing this, you're missing that, this is blank, you have to fill it out. So that detail level, I realized I'm not a detailed person. I hated contracts. So if I have to do contracts, I will die. Probably as an attorney, you're like, oh, I love contracts,
Yeah, I do,
but
you're right.
Like, this is a part that I don't like to do, and I'm not good at, meaning I'm more interested in creating visuals, maybe creating real estate tours, creating the experience, working with people, but in a different way. But if you sit me down to the contract, I will die slowly. So that piece was hard for me, like the details of the transaction and the step-by-step to closing. So that was something I had to learn from scratch. And having help and mentorship was helpful, because it was my first year. So I had to start from like a brand new baby, starting in the real estate space to understand all the processes. And eventually I got it done. I got my transactions in Chicago, although my mind was in how do I do more international. So I was trying to pass the mentorship program as fast as I could to graduate, to be able to be on my own to do my transactions internationally. So my eye was always on the international piece. My transactions in Chicago were just enough to understand the whole process, to know what we go through, what I need to be compliant for, because this was a great example for me to take it to any country and have the framework of how to do from A to C a transaction. I still had to learn it, and then maybe how to automate it or how to translate that to other buyers. Let's say they buy in Colombia, they buy in Mexico, they buy in India. So these are the steps that we follow in the US. These are the steps you might want to follow when you buy in other countries that you might not be familiar with. But then I know I can use certain terminology that they will understand me, earnest money, down payment, escrow, whatever that is. And then that was very helpful to have a broad view of a transaction.
Wow, very interesting. So what is the way you go about getting the leads from these other countries?
For other countries, it has been mostly community-based, because we don't do ads right now. I do YouTube a lot, and our YouTube is mostly education about how to buy in X country. So we have documented the process of how to buy. As of now, 20 countries. From A to C, we take you by the hand. You don't have to buy, but at least you know about it. And that helps also agents that want to do some international understand the buying process, to be like, hey, maybe I can send a lead to India. I never thought about that because it's so far away. I mean, I only care about my local market. So through YouTube, we've been able to consistently provide value on the education for free, on the how to, what it's like to live there, what are some of the neighborhoods, and we do that through real estate tours. We started real estate tours last year, and all that is an experience of going to a place as a group, either agents and investors or only investors, and we take them around to an area of like 2 to 3 cities, if the time allows, for 4 to 6, 7 days. So it's like an immersive experience on like, well, this is Cancun, this is Playa del Carmen, this is Tulum, and these are the areas you want to stay away from, because there's also that. So some people that go without the knowledge, local agents maybe don't understand enough the risks that they put the clients through by offering them whatever they make a commission on without knowing if that's going to be finished or not. So there's a lot of risk on going blindly to a new market that you don't know anything about. Or YouTube is a starting point, but the experience is the next level of being there, seeing that it's real. How does it look like? What are the finishes like? So it's like an open house internationally that we go step by step, explain about the city, the demographics. People have kids that like this area, people who play golf that like these other communities, people who like to be by the water, just chilling. They don't, they want to walk to the beach. This is kind of the other community. And these are the more affordable ones. So we kind of go over A to Z in the inventory explanation. And that has been our main source for lead generation with real clients. And of course, agents are our main partners, number one, because the more they know, the more they can refer us locally, at least the market that we focus on. That has been like our network of, hey, the more you know, let me provide more information for all the agents that we know. And that would be like clicking like, hey, I'm moving I might sell my house because I want to move somewhere warmer. Those keywords are like, the Midwest always. So then here for those keywords, and then they sell us valid referrals that way. And then either they go on a tour or they go on a private tour. And then that's how we start the process of buying. It's not quick. International is a long run. Nobody buys like a house in 2 days, like probably because they need to move for school or something like that. It's like a 6 to 12 to 18 month process that they are curious about it, they like it, they decide, because it's a big decision for one person or a family to make. So that's kind of the lead generation process. A lot of WhatsApp groups too. I love going to conferences and create WhatsApp groups to stay connected.
Yeah, it sounds like with that much of a period of time over for that kind of a lead, you must have a really good follow-up system going on, or just moving closer to a final deal at the end of that. So, what do you do for that? Are you using some like a tickle file or someone tells you when to make a phone call again, or do you have other things in content in place to keep you top of mind? What do you do during that period of time?
So we learn over time. At the beginning, we did nothing. And it was like more like, hey, I'll text you and you tell me, when you come. And then we had to put it in a system, which we changed CRMs a few times because, at least for the US, you have one CRM by location and MLS. But when you're in a different country, sometimes you're given a different system, or sometimes you might or might not be given a CRM. So right now, I have like an agnostic CRM, it's GoHighLevel. And there we put all our buyers and our agents to make sure that we can organize our brain into systems. Now we have a system in place that, hey, this person came to the tour, they say maybe 6 months, and then we follow up. Then we put them through the pipeline. With agents as well, sometimes they're like, hey, I want to come to one tour, but send me more information when you have it. Sometimes we don't launch the tours right away, but we keep people in mind to when it becomes, reality, then they can join. So we have two funnels for the two different type of marketing personas, one agents, one buyers. And then we also have the buyers tag to whoever send the referral to make sure that we can honor that connection. And also they can send us a connection through eXp platform to make sure it's a valid contract and compliant. So whenever the client is ready, they'll know on their end as well.
Yeah, that's great. So you're using GoHighLevel then for both your buyers and also for agents?
Right now, yes.
Okay. I'm also familiar with GoHighLevel. I use that for our agents. So we have something in common there.
I love
and for buyers and sellers and stuff, I use all the ones at eXp just so that I know how they work. So it was like that. But so what do you think the number one thing is that accelerated your growth? Because you're doing quite well. What would be the number one thing that you would attribute to getting to where you are now?
The number one thing I think has been research, because it's not fast, but to me it's more reliable. And one-on-one research on the ground. So I travel a lot. I literally am in Chicago maybe 3 months to 5 months a year now. and the rest I'm gone. Like I'm in Mexico, like the other half, 3 to 5 months too, because it's warm and it's nice. And now we have a place there. But the rest of the time, I'm literally spending 3 to 6 weeks, if not more, on the ground by different countries, different cities, getting to know the agents locally, one-on-one, helping them with things that they might need if they don't know. Because sometimes I realize that when I'm in the US, I feel like I don't know anything because everybody's so competitive. Everybody's like learning the new thing. And then I'm like, I don't even know what innovation is. And I had to learn it because when I'm here, I feel like I ingest a lot of information. But when I'm in a different country, I feel like I'm the only person who knows everything. And I feel the gaps on the education because I'm like, well, I'm just going to go and plant the seed somewhere else or what I learn, here and take it there. So when I'm in, let's say Colombia, Peru, I feel like agents come, we congregate together. We do like a workshop, and then sometimes I don't know what I already know, but by they telling them that they don't know these things, I can help them get close the gap on the knowledge, because I for me will be like common sense, but for them like that's something new. So that research of exchanging that information, and then everything they ask me, I write it in my notes. This is not common sense here, and then I explain it for our buyers that. And then just kind of like go like this. It's like a braid of information. What you don't know here, what you're not here, what might seem common sense here that is not here, and then explain the process. So by being one-on-one with agents and in the tours and in the location, I feel like that gives me like one-on-one experience of like what is like Medellin, what is like Cartagena, Lima, Portugal. We did a tour in Portugal. So I think there is nothing that beats experience by being there and talking to real people. Because they tell you what they cannot tell you in a Zoom call. Like, hey, there's this law, or there is this municipality issue, or there is this, title, whatever. And then they have that one-on-one conversation of trust. So it's not the fastest way to get, onto the success train, but to me has been the most reliable way. That I know that if I hear it first from the agents locally, I can go and transmit it with trust that somebody who I trusted shared with me this information. Then I did the research. So that has been the main number one for us. That whole knowledge gathering for 4 years had made me put everything together into, we call it the International Real Estate Academy now. I just finished it, recording, posted. We have a school community now that I was like, how can I explain somebody A to Z in 4 hours, downloading on my brain on the being mindful of certain things that might be common sense in one place, but it's not. Everywhere. So that now we have that output, let's say, was born from the experience. And I think learning how to do something is very important, but learning what not to do is something super important as well, because you avoid risking your clients, especially when it comes to international transactions.
Well, you've obviously found a lot of success, so you must have these systems in place, and you like starting out one way and then adjusting for the things that you've learned has gotten you there. And so that's really great. So what advice might you give to an agent right now that feels stuck? Some agent that just feels stuck. What would be your number one piece of advice for them in what to do then? Because it sounds like you've gone through some ebb and flows as well to arrive where you are now.
So I think when I see agents stuck is because they're not getting probably traffic to their market. And the most frustrating part to being an agent is not having clients, right? Because if you don't have clients, you don't eat, if that's what you do full time at least. So lead generation is super important, and I feel like if your market is slightly slow right now, you might want to explore, plan B. You don't have to stop doing what you're doing, but maybe an extension of something you can do on the side, like a side gig, right? But for us, that side gig is international. So maybe think outside the box. Like, you don't have to be physically stuck somewhere unless you want to. But if you want to join online, we have weekly calls on Thursdays for international. So if you want to just get curious, you can start with that. It's free. So anybody can join. Or understand from other markets, because maybe when your market is slow, maybe the East Coast is is busy or different.
So a question. So how would somebody join that call that you just mentioned?
They join a WhatsApp group. They join a WhatsApp.
Oh, I see. Join a WhatsApp group. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. All right.
I can share that too, if you like.
Yes, I would like to know about that. Can anybody join that?
Right now, yes, because we open it right now. I want to share with Mike that anybody right now, Wolfpack, can check the group. It's a free group in school.
Okay.
And then the class, anybody who we co-sponsor with, will give them access to that for free as well. So
Okay.
they can know what there is in there and also get their agents understanding why we should work together, with Karrie and Natalie, let's say.
Okay. Yeah. So I was actually going to mention that next about co-sponsorship, because it's pretty amazing that this new co-sponsor program at eXp that Nathaly and I can both work together as well. People can sign up to eXp with either one of us as a sponsor and the other as co-sponsor, and Nathaly and I share the same upline. So both of us bring the value that happens to be in the Wolfpack. So it seems to me that, obviously your huge strength as either a sponsor or a co-sponsor are your international, your experience there and everything you learned. I assume that that's also maybe why you joined eXp, because eXp already has a big international presence and growing. I think there was like 20 countries when I first joined. Now it's like 28 plus or something like that. So definitely growing. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're even going to open up new markets from the way that, you're covering the globe. So that's interesting. But so I understand that would be your piece about eXp Realty. Why did you choose the Wolfpack, or what made that a choice for you?
Well, that was a choice I didn't make at the beginning. So I didn't share with you, but at the beginning I joined eXp with a sponsor locally in Chicago.
Okay.
Was not in the Wolfpack. And that was the first time I ever heard about eXp, because it wasn't in my peripheral vision, real estate companies, because all I wanted to do was international. So Remax wasn't going to cut it, Century 21, no, there was like, I want to do international, but truly. So when she mentioned eXp, I was like, this is a perfect platform I need right now. And I want to get my license. I got my license. I joined the group, but then for what I wanted to do, I felt like I didn't have the support there, because I had to create everything myself from scratch. And since I already exactly knew what I wanted to do, joining a group that was more local, it was very hard for me to fit in and to adjust. I did my best. I stayed there for 2 years. And then as I was exposed to eXp, the eXp ecosystem, then I met other influencers within the eXp space, which was Mike, Vane, and other ones that I align with, in the from a marketing perspective. But Mike and Vane had like my ideal case scenario. Like I want to be like them, because that's where I want to take my brand to. So that's when I had to make the hard decision to leave eXp for 6 months back then in 2023. And it was like a big realization when I was like, it's going to be really hard to do, but I need to do it because I want to go in the faster train that, I don't want to be stuck somewhere that I need to build everything from scratch, and who has time to build everything? I don't have time. Like I want it now. So I had to just go through 6 months of like Google eXp jail to join the upline that I wanted to join. And this was, Mike and Vane. Vane for the Spanish content and Mike for the marketing. And it was kind of seamless. I was like, this is perfect because I feel this is my tribe. And then that's when everything started. I had to start from scratch 2024, at the beginning of 2024.
Wow, that is quite a story. As you know, you're not the only one. We've had so many people that have left eXp and come back just to join the Wolfpack and this amazing community that we have. Unfortunately, now that people are going to do that now, they have to leave eXp for a solid year before they return, making it much harder for people to make that choice. But I bet you people are still going to make that choice when they discover our group. So if anybody would like to work with me or you or both of us, how would they get a hold of you?
They can contact you and book in your calendar maybe, and then can reach out. We can do a 3-way call for sure. Because for us, the most important thing is that you get into the right family that aligns with you and your values. I think value check is super important, because that's who you're going to be seeing every single day, every single week, who's going to support you or care for your growth. So yeah, absolutely, they can reach out to you. I also have a Calendly available if they want to have a one-on-one. And then social media, also the best way. But sometimes social media gets like swamped with so many messages. So sometimes booking directly in the calendar, we get a one-on-one and see what they might need specifically or what their dream is, because sometimes they don't know that it's possible. Sometimes it's like, no, I'm a realtor, so I'm locally stuck here. Yes and no.
Right. Yes and
yeah.
no.
Yes, I know. It's a choice. And then by creating a community around it, you can always do half and half, or eventually step out if you want to. But it's about their goals and what they want to achieve. And based on that, we can definitely have a conversation, three of us, or they can talk to you, or they can talk to us.
Okay, well, I'll make sure I get your Calendly link in the description. That should be sitting below us right now. And thank you so much for coming on today, Nathaly, and sharing your story. I'm sure it's extremely motivating and inspiring to lots of agents. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Karrie. Very nice chatting with you.
If you got any value from this email, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified of our next valuable agent story. And if you're interested in partnering with Smart Agent Alliance or Nathaly, or with both of us, click the appropriate links in the description below to get the ball rolling. And if you want any more information about eXp Realty or our team, there should be some videos showing above my head. Thank you for watching and have a great day.